In the cold heart of the Galactic Council's observation chamber, alien delegates watch a terrifying human fleet's approach. Confusion and dread rip through the Council as they grapple with the threat of Deathworld-Class cruises. Weapons they believe to be myth. Meanwhile, a human commander silently prepares to deliver a message of reckoning. A chilling promise hangs heavy in the void, signaling the dawn of a new power shift. The observation chamber aboard the Celestis Prime was silent, save for the faint hum of the gravitic field stabilizers and the low buzz of the quantum comm relays. A vast curved viewport showed the approaching fleet, colossal blackened hulks drifting through the star-streaked void. Their sleek silhouettes defied known engineering, framed against the backdrop of a dying star. "Deathworld-class cruisers," hissed Councillor Zreth from the Enlathi delegation, his 6 eyes fixed wide on the scene. But they were dismissed as legends, folklore from the outer reaches, a warning to children. The elder Primalu beside him banged a clawed fist against the transparent barrier. "They breach our outer defenses with ease, devouring whole battle groups. How did humanity survive their own damn warships?" Behind them, the council chambers trembled, not from any physical force, but from a growing panic, a seismic mental shift. The Ancient One, a telepath of near-mythic repute, closed his eyes and emitted a wave of psychic dread. "They do not come for negotiation." Zreth's antennae twitched, sweat glistening on the ridges of his face. "Are we underestimating them? Have we misread the human psyche all along?" A flicker on the observation panel drew all eyes to the command vessel, black smoke spiraling from its battered prow. Yet the ship's defiant silhouette remained unbowed, cloaked in active nanotech shimmer. The fleet moved forward like predators on a hunt. Suddenly, the chamber's vast holographic map pulsed red. The Council's chief tactician, a svelte Zalor, barked, "Shields down on the Tarkine perimeter. EM pulse detected. They're disabling our systems remotely." A chorus of gasps filled the room. In a starkly contrasting scene, miles away on Earth's orbital platform Ares Bastion, Commander Isla Vance stood in the cold steel control room, her gaze steady on the fleet ahead. The metallic rumble of the cruisers echoed faintly through the hull. She spoke softly, more to herself than her officers. "They think this is war. They haven't seen the price we paid to survive. Tonight, the galaxy learns what humanity is." She raised her voice as the bridge fell silent. "Initiate final. On countdown, ready the Death World protocols. This isn't just an invasion, it's a reckoning." Her finger hovered over the console's ignition sequence. "Tell them this," she whispered coldly into the comm. "Deathworld-Class doesn't ask for mercy." Back in the Galactic Council chamber, a single, chilling transmission broke through the static haze. "Your surrender is advised. Resistance will mean extinction." The chamber froze, a galaxy-wide silence. The elder Primalu swallowed hard and muttered, "They are not what we feared. They are worse." The viewports dimmed. The power dynamics had shifted, and the Galactic Council knew, in the marrow of their ancient bones, that humanity's shadow was no longer one to be ignored. As humanity's Deathworld cruisers close in, a battered alien admiral struggles to comprehend the true nature of the threat. Meanwhile, aboard the human flagship Ares Bastion, Commander Isla Vance recalls Earth's brutal history, the crucible that forged humanity's unyielding will. Alien misjudgment and human rage collide in a growing storm of tactical gambits and psychological warfare. The first blows fall, and the galaxy trembles. The Tarsis Enclave, a colossal alien dreadnought, flagship of the Galactic Council's armada, shuddered under invisible blows. From the command deck, Admiral Krylos Vex stared in disbelief at the cascading systems failures on his hollow displays. "Tell me again," he growled through clenched mandibles, "what kind of weapon disables our plasma shields and scrambles our gravitic drives without a physical strike?" Lieutenant Zikra's multiple eyes flickered nervously as she scanned the damage reports. It appears to be a nanotech-based electromagnetic pulse, Admiral. They deploy swarms of microdrones that infiltrate and sabotage critical components. Within milliseconds, Shavok slammed a clawed fist against the console. This is no ordinary fleet. They wield technology we have never encountered. Nothing even remotely like the phase disruptors or quantum warheads in our archives. A tense silence filled the command deck. From the viewport, the human cruisers loomed, black titans trailing shimmering nano-shields like phantoms in the void. The Deathworld-Class label suddenly felt terrifyingly literal. Shavok's voice lowered to a hiss. Their technology is a plague upon our systems, and yet their ships are almost primitive by comparison. Where do they draw this madness? Thousands of kilometers away, in the steel heart of Ares Bastion, Commander Isla Vance watched the alien armada with cold calculation. Her voice was steady as she spoke to her second-in-command, Lieutenant Malik Reyes. They expect brute force. They expect conventional war. But Earth is no longer the world they left behind. Malik frowned. They still outnumber us. Our losses will be staggering. Isla's eyes hardened. Losses are a given. We've survived worse. Centuries of starvation, plague, and occupation. The crucible of Earth forged a species you can't intimidate and can't break. She turned from the viewport to a holomap displaying battle formations. Our Deathworld protocols are ready. EMP pulses, nanotech swarms, cloaked strike teams. The galaxy thinks we are savages. They have no idea we are survivors, honed by fire and betrayal. Flashback. Earth, 150 years prior. The planet was a wasteland, ravaged by decades of brutal wars over dwindling resources. Cities lay in ruins beneath radioactive skies, survivors huddled in underground sanctuaries, their faces gaunt, their spirits hardened. Isla was then a child, watching her parents disappear during one of the countless alien raids. She remembered the day the Council declared Earth a lost cause, sealing the planet off from aid. She recalled her mentor, the scientist Dr. Lena Hart, whispering as they worked on secret weapons in hidden labs beneath the crust. Humanity's true weapon, Lena had said, is its will to endure. The galaxy thinks we are weak because we were broken, but broken things can shatter steel. Back aboard Ares Bastion, Isla activated the ship-wide intercom. Attention all personnel, her voice echoed in cold clarity. Today, we remind the galaxy why Earth is no longer to be pitied or underestimated. Prepare to deploy Deathworld protocols. We do not ask for mercy. We demand survival. Back on the Tarsis enclave, Admiral Shavok struggled with the reality sinking into his bones. This is not war. It is extermination, he muttered. And we are the hunted. Admiral, his communications officer interrupted urgently, we have detected cloaked strike teams breaching the outer hull. Sensors indicate infiltration squads equipped with nanotech disruptors. Shavok gritted his teeth. Deploy countermeasures. Seal all compartments. Hunt down those squads with extreme prejudice. But deep in his gut, a cold truth settled. The humans were playing a different game, one the Council had never anticipated. In the shadows of the Ares Bastion, Sergeant Mara Kin stood among the Deathworld strike teams, her exosuit cloaked by advanced nanofibers that bent light and scrambled sensors. She breathed deeply, steadying the familiar pulse of adrenaline. Remember why we fight, she whispered through comms, not just for Earth, but for every system the Council crushed under their iron rule. Her squad moved silently through the darkened corridors of the Tarsis enclave, hunting command nodes to plant EMP charges. Back on the alien ship's bridge, alarms blared as one breach after another spread like wildfire. Admiral Shavok's facade cracked, his voice shaking with panic. Contain the infiltration. Stop them at any cost. We cannot allow the Deathworld protocol to reach the Council's core. The battle was not just physical, but psychological. The alien delegates watched in horror as their battle lines fractured under human assaults that seemed more like surgical strikes than a blitzkrieg. Counselor Zreth whispered, "Why do they fight? Like demons possessed? What fuels this relentless fury?" The Ancient One's reply was cold and brutal. "Because they remember. Because they were betrayed by the galaxy, and now they burn for vengeance." On the bridge of Ari's bastion, Usla monitored the evolving battle, her face stoic. She finally spoke aloud. "The Council thought they could contain us, like a pest, but they didn't realize the pest is a hive mind, a storm of survival that cannot be crushed." Malik glanced at her. "And if we win?" "We don't win by mercy or conquest," Isla said softly. "We win by making them understand that some species are not meant to be broken." Outside, the void burned with fire and shadow. Deathworld-Class. Cruisers unleashed waves of nanotech, EMPs, and cloaked infiltrators. The Council's armada faltered, confusion and dread rippling through every command channel. And the humans pressed forward, unyielding, relentless, the echo of centuries of survival boiling into a storm the galaxy could no longer ignore. With the Galactic Council in disarray, desperate attempts to regroup are met with ruthless human precision and unyielding resolve. On board Ari's bastion, Commander Vance orchestrates a calculated strike targeting the Council's leadership core. Meanwhile, alien factions fracture under fear and mistrust, unraveling centuries of fragile alliances. The shadows of past betrayals deepen as the first true losses hit home, and humanity's ruthless drive to reclaim its place becomes unmistakably clear. The Tarsis enclave hung like a wounded beast in space, crippled but still breathing. Its once pristine hull was pocked with scorch marks, jagged breaches oozing drifting clouds of superheated plasma. Admiral Krylos Vex paced his bridge, jaw clenched, rage and desperation simmering beneath his scaly skin. His tactical screens flickered, blips vanished, systems blinked out, and reports from the front lines grew grimmer by the minute. "We must stabilize the perimeter," he barked at his officers. "Seal the breach corridors. Deploy emergency graviton fields to slow the enemy advance." Lieutenant Zikra's multiple eyes darted rapidly as she interfaced with failing systems. "Sir, the nanotech infiltrators are already inside the core. We've lost contact with several command pods." Sharvok's claws rapped impatiently against the console. "Then we cut the parasite out. Send the spectral units. Kill teams trained for surgical strikes. They must stop the Death World sabotage before it's too late." From the main viewport, the black silhouettes of human cruisers hovered like predators. Their Deathworld tech shimmered, nanofibers cloaking strike teams, electromagnetic pulses disrupting every defense, gravity generators twisting the battlefield. Meanwhile, aboard the Ari's bastion, Commander Isla Vance stood rigid in front of a sprawling holographic display showing the Tarsis Enclave's internal layout. Her voice cut through the tense silence. "Deploy Mara Kin's team through Breach 7. Their objective? Disable the Council's neural command hub." Lieutenant Malik Reyes responded crisply. "Understood, Commander. They're already moving." Isla's gaze hardened. "The Council thought us broken. We will prove we are forged." In a darkened chamber within the alien flagship, Counselor Zreth trembled as news of the ongoing destruction reached him. "They cut through our ranks like wildfire," he whispered, terror tightening his throat. "Our fleets were meant to be invincible." The Ancient One floated beside him, eyes closed in grim meditation. "We saw only what we wanted to see. The human spirit is a crucible of rage and survival. They wield their pain as a weapon." Zreth swallowed hard, voice cracking. "And what of mercy? Should we not attempt peace?" The Ancient One's tone was cold and final. "Mercy was a luxury we never afforded them. Now it is a weakness." Deep inside the Tarsis Enclave, Mara Kin's squad moved through shadowed corridors. Her exosuit's nanofiber cloak rendered her nearly invisible. her senses attuned to the faintest vibrations. "Steady," she whispered into comms. "The neural. Command hub is just ahead. Sensors confirm heavy security." A pulse of static followed by a calm voice answered. "EM charge ready. We disrupt their command lines. No chance for backup." Mara crouched and placed the EMP device carefully on the hub's access panel. Seconds later, a controlled blast rippled through the ship's systems. Alarm screamed, power flickered, and the artificial gravity in the sector stuttered violently. On the bridge, Admiral Sharvok roared in fury as the neural core's connection severed. "They have crippled us," he spat. "This is no ordinary siege. This is annihilation." A junior officer reported trembling data. "Several council delegations are attempting emergency evacuation. The alliance fractures." Sharvok slammed his gauntlet on the console. "Hold them! We are not beaten until every human cruiser is ashes." But doubt gnawed beneath his rage. The council's centuries of dominance were crumbling under the relentless human onslaught. Aboard Ari's Bastion, Isla watched the chaos unfold through encrypted feeds. "They underestimate our resolve," she told Malik quietly. "We do not fight for conquest, but for survival and justice." Malik nodded. "Their fear is our weapon." Isla's eyes narrowed. "And this is only the beginning." Across the war-torn galaxy, alien factions fractured, old rivalries resurfacing. As panic and suspicion spread like wildfire, in the shadowy council halls, whispers of betrayal and weakness swirled. "We were fools to trust the council's judgment," hissed a Zalor commander. "They have led us into ruin." The elder Primalu's claws drummed anxiously. "We face extinction, not from war, but from the fury of a species we believed broken." Meanwhile, Mara's squad planted further charges, sabotaging weapon systems and communication arrays with ruthless efficiency. Their quiet strikes rippled across the Tarsis enclave, sparking fires and sending isolated shockwaves of panic through the alien ranks. Mara paused, her gaze hardening. "This is for Earth, for every lost child and forgotten promise." Back on the bridge, Admiral Sharvok's command was slipping away as the ship's systems failed one after another. "Prepare the escape pods," he ordered through gritted teeth. "We cannot let the Council's core fall." But even as orders were given, the reality sank in. The Council was losing control. Isla's voice cut through the ship-wide comm, cold and unyielding. "Council of the Galaxy," she intoned. "Your reign of arrogance is over. You gambled on our submission. You lost." A silence fell across the war zone. In that pregnant pause, the ancient structures of power trembled. The humans were no longer desperate survivors. They were a storm no one could stop. The human assault shatters the fragile unity of the Galactic Council, igniting betrayals and desperate gambits among alien factions. Commander Isla Vance leads a bold infiltration into the heart of the Council's citadel, confronting both brutal enemies and haunting echoes of humanity's past. The cost of survival becomes personal, revealing sacrifices that weigh heavier than victory. As old alliances crumble, a new order threatens to rise from the chaos, and humanity's ruthless clarity becomes a terrifying beacon. The cold silence of space was shattered by a chain of explosions. The Tarsis enclave groaned under the strain of internal sabotage, ruptured reactors bleeding raw energy into the vacuum. Commander Isla Vance's boots clicked sharply against the reinforced alloy corridor of the human assault ship Ari's Bastion. Every step was measured, deliberate. Behind her, Lieutenant Malik Reyes monitored the squad's neural feeds, eyes darting over real-time maps projected in holospace. "The Council's citadel core is more labyrinthine than expected," Malik murmured. "But their panic is our advantage. Sensors show the Primalu's faction withdrawing." Isla's gaze sharpened. "Good! Divide and conquer!" Inside the alien citadel, Councillor Zreth gripped the edge of the obsidian command dais, veins bulging. On his neck, his mind raced to keep the fracturing alliance from collapsing entirely. "Traitors lurk in every shadow," he hissed. "The humans have torn our trust asunder." Beside him, the elder Primalu's jagged claws clenched. "We underestimated their ruthlessness. Our kind is fractured beyond repair." A messenger entered, trembling, bearing grim news. Several key planetary delegates had already abandoned the Council's cause. Zreth closed his eyes, fighting nausea. "We will not survive this war unless we abandon all pride." On the Ares Bastion, Isla tapped a sequence into her wrist console. "Prepare infiltration teams. We move to secure the Council's neural archive. They keep their secrets there. Our leverage," Malik nodded, "will cripple their command and control, one blow to shatter the remnants of their coalition." The squad moved swiftly through dim corridors. Holomaps flickered. Security drones hovered silently but were disabled by nanotech EMP pulses. Mara Kin, eyes cold steel, led the vanguard. "This is no longer a war," she muttered through comms. "It's reckoning." Suddenly alarms blared. "Security breach! Intruders in the lower archives!" The automated voice shrieked. Alien soldiers poured in, their multi-limbed forms charging with energy weapons blazing. Mara's squad split seamlessly, weaving through plasma fire. Bullets sizzled past, but the humans' exosuits absorbed shocks. With advanced nano-weave armor, in the chaos, Mara's visor flickered images of a familiar symbol, the ancient crest of humanity's forgotten colony, the lost planet Gaia 9. Flashbacks struck Commander Vance, memories of Earth's darkest days during the final collapse. She clenched her fists, voice steady. "We fight for those who never survived their betrayal." Back in the Citadel's war room, Councillor Zreth's composure cracked. "Why are they like this?" he whispered to the Ancient One. The Ancient One's eyes gleamed with icy detachment. "Because they have nothing left to lose. Their rage is tempered by survival. We cannot comprehend it." Meanwhile, Mara's squad fought their way into the neural archive chamber. Inside, they found rows of crystalline data matrices glowing with encrypted knowledge. "Download what we can," Mara ordered. "These secrets could end this war." As they worked, an explosion rocked the facility. Dust and debris rained down. From the shadows, a hulking alien warlord emerged, eyes blazing with fury. "You desecrate our sacred knowledge," he growled. The squad braced for battle. The fight was brutal. Plasma blasts and kinetic strikes collided in a cacophony of violence. Mara moved with deadly grace, her pulse rifle singing a cold, relentless song. With a final coordinated strike, the warlord fell. As the dust settled, Malik's comm crackled urgently. "Commander, incoming fleet reinforcements detected. They're sending everything they have." Isla's jaw tightened. "Then we finish this before they arrive. No retreat." Back on the command dais, Councillor Zreth issued a desperate decree. "Evacuate the surviving delegates. Regroup at the Outer Rim. We will strike back with everything left. The Ares Bastion readied for exfiltration. Neural archives secured." Isla's voice was calm but firm. "This war is far from over, but the Council's reign has fractured," Malik added. "Their fear will be their undoing." In the final moments aboard the Tarsis Enclave, alien alliances shattered beneath the weight of fear and human tenacity, and on the horizon, the stars whispered a promise. Humanity's reckoning had only just begun. As the shattered council retreats to the Outer Rim, humanity's forces push deeper into alien territory. Commander Isla Vance confronts ghosts from Earth's lost colony, Gaia 9, uncovering hidden betrayals and secrets that redefine the war's meaning. Alien factions clash in desperation, their fragile unity irreparably broken. The human warship, Ares Bastion, becomes a crucible for hope and sacrifice, setting the stage for a reckoning that transcends the battlefield. Darkness pressed against the porthole like an unyielding weight, the stars beyond distant pinpricks in the black void. The Ares bastion slipped through the outer rim's nebulae, silent and unseen. Isla Vance stood in the ship's observation deck, the stolen neural archives secured in a reinforced case at her side. The data glimmered faintly, humming with secrets, from worlds she had never known, and ghosts of a history buried beneath centuries of silence. "Commander," Malik's voice broke the stillness through her comlink. "We're approaching Gaia 9 coordinates. Sensor readings are unusual." Isla's breath caught. Gaia 9, the lost Earth colony where humanity's darkest days had been buried under layers of propaganda and forgotten history. Unusual. How? Malik's voice was grave. Energy signatures. Residual tech far beyond our own understanding, but decayed. Almost abandoned. Isla's fingers tightened around the railing. "Prepare the scout drones. We need eyes on the surface before we land." Gaia 9's atmosphere was thick with toxic clouds, swirling red and ochre. The landscape below was jagged and broken, a planet scarred by wars that no archive had fully documented. As drones descended, images streamed into the Ares bastions. Tactical screens, crumbled cities half swallowed by alien flora, skeletal remains of towering machines cracked open like tombs, and deep underground complexes blinking with dormant power. Why was this place forgotten? Marikin asked from the comms. What were they hiding? Isla's voice was quiet but fierce. The truth has a way of burying itself where no one will find it. Until now. Meanwhile, deep in the outer rim, the remnants of the Galactic Council gathered aboard the Tarsis Enclave. The atmosphere was thick with distrust and exhaustion. Councillor Zreth paced the command chamber, eyes shadowed. The humans have proven something none of us wish to accept. Their ferocity is born of survival, not savagery. Primalu Elder Kethra's voice cut sharply through the murmurs. They speak of survival, yet they wield technology that defies reason. Nanotech cloaking, EMP pulses. They've turned our own laws of warfare against us. Zreth nodded slowly. They are not what we believed. Our complacency is our undoing. Back on Gaia 9, Isla's team prepared to land. The surface is unstable, Malik warned. Radiation levels spiked near the ruins. This planet was a death world in every sense. Isla felt the weight of history pressing down on her. We face death not just from enemies, but from the ghosts of our own past. The landing zone was a shattered plain beneath a blood-red sky. The squad disembarked, gear locking tightly against the toxic atmosphere. Isla led them toward the remnants of a human research facility, one of the last outposts before Gaia 9's fall. Inside, walls were scorched and etched with warning glyphs, in both human and alien script. Dr. Tessa Renner, the ship's lead scientist, scanned the ruins with a portable quantum analyzer. Data fragments indicate they were experimenting on biological adaptation, she said. Nanotech symbiosis. They tried to make humans survive the death world environment. Isla swallowed hard. They didn't just fight the planet. They tried to remake themselves. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the ruins. Dust rained. Down from cracked ceilings. "Movement detected!" Tessa shouted. From the shadows emerged figures, gaunt, twisted, yet unmistakably human. Eyes glowed faintly with bioluminescent veins. Bodies adapted to Gaia 9's harsh environment, but haunted by its scars. One stepped forward, voice rough and broken. "You're not meant to come here." Isla's heart thundered. These were the lost descendants, survivors of a war no history books had told. The leader introduced himself as Kale, a relic of Gaia 9's forgotten war. "We fought the Council's experiments and paid the price," he said. "Our kind lives in the shadows. We are ghosts, hiding from both man and alien." Isla's voice was steady but urgent. "We need your knowledge. The war is bigger than all of us now." Kyle's eyes flickered with pain and anger. "You seek Salvation from the ashes of betrayal. But be warned, some wounds never heal. As the humans and Gaia 9 survivors exchanged stories, Tessa uncovered a shocking truth. The Council's betrayal wasn't just political, she revealed. They sanctioned the experiments that turned this planet into a death world. They sacrificed Gaia 9 to hide their failures. Isla clenched her fists. Humanity's enemies ran from truth and responsibility. We will not. Back in the Outer Rim, the Council's fracturing alliance teetered on the edge of collapse. Primalu Elder Kethra addressed the delegates in a stormy conclave. Our divisions will be our downfall, she warned. If we cannot unite the humans, will dismantle us piece by piece. Councillor Zreth's voice rang hollow. And yet, the humans show us a unity forged in fire and loss. What we call savagery may be strength. On the Ares bastion, Isla prepared to relay the new intelligence. We have allies no one expected, she told Malik. The past is not behind us. It shapes the war we fight. Malik nodded. Then we use their knowledge and their pain to end this. The chapter closed with a tense quiet. On Gaia 9's broken surface, human survivors and the lost descendants of a forsaken colony stood united beneath the harsh red sky. And somewhere in the distance, the alien fleets prepared for what would be their final reckoning, the fragile Galactic. Council fractures under the weight of fear and betrayal as human forces push further into alien space. Commander Isla Vance navigates tenuous alliances with the Gaia 9 survivors while preparing for a devastating counterattack. Alien factions turn on one another as distrust spirals, revealing cracks in their supposedly invincible unity. The war's meaning deepens, survival demands sacrifice, but trust may be the deadliest casualty of all. The Tarsis enclave hovered like a wounded beast in the void, its command chamber tense and suffocating. Councillor Zreth sat slumped, staring at the holographic star map flickering with red dots, the locations where Ares Bastion and other human warships had struck deep into alien territory. Our fleets are being picked apart, Zreth muttered, voice hoarse with disbelief. They strike with surgical precision. Every engagement reveals new technology we cannot counter. Elder Kethra's gaze was sharp, almost wild. The humans wield Deathworld tactics with a cruelty we never imagined. They do not seek conquest. They seek survival. That is what terrifies us. The council chamber erupted in murmurs, the brittle calm fracturing. Back aboard the Ares Bastion, Isla Vance paced the command bridge, tension knotting her shoulders. "Status report," she demanded. Lieutenant Malik turned from the tactical. "Gonzole, Gaia 9 survivors are ready to share their knowledge, but they remain wary. They've lived through betrayal. Trust is not easily earned." Udla nodded. "We need their insight to anticipate the Council's next move." Tessa Renner approached, data tablet in hand. "Their bioadaptations are incredible. Symbiotic nanotech that allows them to survive environments that would kill us outright. But their tech is incomplete, unstable." Isla's eyes flicked to the viewport. "Incomplete or not, it's a weapon we must wield." On the surface of Gaia 9, Kyle's people gathered in a cavernous, bioluminescent refuge carved into the rock. Kyle spoke to his council of survivors. "The council's lies run deep. We were pawns in their experiments, left to die so they could claim moral high ground." One survivor, Yara, spoke quietly. "If we join the humans, what guarantee do we have that history won't repeat itself?" Kyle's gaze hardened. "There is no guarantee, but their enemy is our enemy. That must be enough." Meanwhile, on the Tarsis enclave, alien leaders debated fiercely. "A truce with the humans is impossible," spat the warlord Dracos. "They defy our laws of war. They use Deathworld tactics that betray every code we hold sacred." A counselor from the trade faction countered, "Our unity is fragile. We must adapt or face annihilation." Zreth raised his hand for silence. We are fracturing. Our fear makes us enemies within as well as without. Isla's comm crackled. Commander, sensor sweep indicates multiple cruisers moving to intercept our fleet near the Helios Rift. Her jaw tightened. Prepare for battle. This is no longer a war of attrition. It is survival. The battle erupted in the crimson. Gas clouds of the Helios Rift. Human cruisers darted with precision, cloaking fields flickering as they unleashed EMP pulses. Alien ships responded with brutal plasma volleys and gravity mines. Amidst the chaos, the Ares Bastion launched specialized drones equipped with nanotech viruses designed by Gaia 9 survivors, a living weapon targeting alien systems at a molecular level. In the heart of the battle, Malik piloted an assault craft with cold focus. Deploying nanotech payload, he reported. Alien warships faltered as systems glitched and power drained. Nanotech virus spreading, Tessa confirmed. It disrupts their shield matrices and weapon targeting. As the tide turned, a terrible realization struck the Council fleet. The humans had weaponized the Deathworld environment itself. Elder Kethra's voice cracked. They fight with the planet's fury. Desperation erupted among alien commanders. Old rivalries ignited, with factions blaming each other for failure. Back on the Ares Bastion, Ela stared at the shattered enemy formation. We've broken their fleet's unity, she said grimly. But at what cost? Her comms lit up with emergency signals. The survivors of Gaia 9 reported a breach in their enclave. Isla raced to the transport bay where Kyle and his warriors armed themselves for a counterstrike. We cannot let the Council destroy what little remains of our people, Kyle said, eyes blazing. Isla nodded. We stand together. This fight is ours to win. The chapter closed on a somber note. The Galactic Council teetered on collapse, their forces splintering in distrust and fear. Humanity, though battered and scarred, moved with grim purpose, forging fragile alliances and wielding Deathworld power to change the tide. The war was no longer about conquest. It was about survival, vengeance, and the raw, unyielding spirit of a species underestimated by the galaxy. The shattered Council faces internal revolt as factions betray one another to survive. Isla and Kyle lead a daring strike to protect Gaia 9's remnants, uncovering sinister truths about the Council's experiments. The humans' ruthlessness clashes with alien desperation, and the cost of trust grows heavier. A haunting secret from Earth's past hints at why humanity fights with such brutal resolve. The Tarsis Enclave was no longer a seat of authority, but a battlefield of ideology. Councillor Zreth's voice trembled as he addressed a fracturing assembly. We face extinction, yet some suggest surrender to humans. Is that our fate? Warlord Dracos snarled. Surrender to the very species we engineered as a weapon? Never. Behind closed doors, a shadow faction whispered with bitter urgency. If the Council dies, it will be by our own treachery or their iron will. Isla Vance's orders cut through the command chaos with precise clarity. Prepare the Ares Bastion for a covert insertion on Gaia 9, she said, eyes blazing. We cannot lose our allies now. Kyle stood beside her, tension writ in every line of his face. The Enclave's defenses are failing. The Council's purge squads are hunting. Survivors, Isla nodded grimly. Then we strike hard and fast. Below Gaia 9's surface, in a labyrinth of bioengineered tunnels, the Enclave survivors gathered. Jara's voice was a whisper of fear and hope. If the Council finds us, it means the end. We must trust the humans. Kyle added, Trust is a weapon sharper than any blade. We wield it because we must. The insertion was a symphony of shadows and silence. Isla led the assault team through the twisting caverns, their cloaking fields humming softly. Stay alert, Malik warned. The Council soldiers used bio-augmented trackers. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the tunnels. Council purge forces had breached a secondary gate. A brutal firefight erupted in the glowing corridors. Isla fired with deadly precision, each shot echoing with the weight of humanity's fury. Kale fought beside her, his native bio-nanotech enhancing his reflexes. "Cover me!" Kyle barked, deploying a swarm of nanobots that corroded enemy armor. The Council soldiers faltered, confusion flooding their ranks. In the chaos, Isla's comm beeped. Urgently, Tessa detected something anomalous in the Council's research archives, she reported. A project code named Prometheus. It's horrifying. Isla's jaw clenched. Details. Now. Tessa's voice was strained. They engineered Deathworld bioweapons. On Earth. A heavy silence settled over the command team. Kale's eyes widened. Earth? Our ancient home? Isla swallowed hard. Our past is darker than they imagined. Back in the tunnels, Council reinforcements closed in. Isla made a split decision. Fall back to the Enclave core. We must secure the research data. Jara and Kyle moved swiftly, guiding survivors to safety. As they secured the archive, Isla scanned files filled with twisted biotechnologies, hybrid viruses, terraforming weapons, and psychological warfare programs. They weaponized the planet's ecosystem itself, Isla muttered. Our Deathworld tactics were born in their labs. Kyle's voice was cold. We fight ghosts of their sins. Outside, Council ships orbited Gaia 9 like vultures. Dracos' voice thundered across comms. Surrender the Enclave or all. Perish. Isla's response was icy. We will never kneel. The Enclave's bioluminescent lights flickered as alarms blared. Suddenly, a tremor shook the tunnels. A sabotage triggered. Isla's heart pounded. They're trying to bury us alive. The chapter closed on a desperate stand. Human and Gaia 9 survivors fought side by side, their alliance forged in blood and shadow. The Galactic Council's betrayal echoed louder than any gunfire, a reminder that in this war, the deadliest enemy often lurks within. Trapped beneath Gaia 9's surface, Isla and Kale face collapsing tunnels and relentless Council forces. The Alliance's fragile trust is tested as betrayal threatens from within. Meanwhile, human scientists uncover a secret weapon, ancient Earth technology lost for millennia, that could turn the tide. The line between survival and extinction blurs as desperation unlocks primal fury. The Enclave's cavern walls trembled violently as explosions rippled through the tunnels. Dust and debris filled the air, choking and blinding. "Collapse imminent!" Malik shouted over the cacophony. "We need to move, now!" Isla's boots pounded against the cracked stone floor. "Yara! Kyle! Keep the survivors moving! We can't let anyone get left behind!" Kyle's eyes burned with grim determination. This is no ordinary assault. The Council has unleashed bioterraforming agents designed to destabilize the planet itself. "Deathworld tactics," Isla murmured, voice cold as steel. "They want to bury us beneath Gaia 9's bones." Above, in orbit, the Ares Bastion shuddered under wave after wave of plasma fire. Alien cruisers pressed their assault, relentless and merciless. Tessa Renner monitored the battle from the science bay. "Our shield generators are failing under sustained assault. We're holding, but only barely." Isla's voice cut through the comms. "Prepare the graviton pulse array. If they want to bring the fight to us, we'll show them the meaning of true Deathworld fury." Back underground, the survivors struggled through collapsing corridors, the air thick with panic and dust. Jara's trembling hand clutched a strange artifact, an ancient human relic, cracked and covered in strange symbols. "Kyle," she whispered, "this was found in the deepest vault. They say it's Earth tech from before the Exodus." Kale's face darkened. "Earth's ghosts haunt us still. Whatever power this holds, it could be our salvation, or our doom." Suddenly, a sharp tremor rocked the cavern. The floor beneath them cracked open, revealing a hidden chamber pulsating with eerie blue light. Isla's breath caught. This wasn't meant to be found. Malik scanned the chamber with his handheld scanner. Unknown tech signature, highly advanced nano-quantum matrices. This could rewrite entire ecosystems. Tessa's voice on the comm was urgent. Commander, activating the chamber could destabilize the planet's core. We must be careful. Isla nodded. Careful is a luxury we no longer have. A deafening explosion above signaled the breach of the Enclave's outer defenses. Council troops poured into the tunnels, bio-augmented soldiers wielding weapons that glowed with alien energy. Hold! The line! Sikale shouted, unleashing a swarm of nanobots that erupted like living fire, melting enemy armor. Isla fired her pulse rifle with unerring precision. For humanity, for Gaia 9. In the orbital command deck, the Galactic Council's leaders screamed in frustration. "We are losing control," Elder Kethra bellowed. "The humans wield ancient tech we cannot comprehend," Draco sneered. "Perhaps it is time we consider parley." Zreth shook his head, his voice hollow. "They will accept no peace. Their rage is a force of nature." The chamber's blue light pulsed faster, the artifact in Yara's hands vibrating with energy. Kale reached out, touching the artifact alongside her. A surge of raw power coursed through their veins, visions flooding their minds, Earth's forgotten history, a planet scarred by wars, resilience forged in fire. "We are the inheritors of a broken legacy," Kyle whispered. "But now, we can rise from the ashes." Outside, the Ares bastion unleashed the graviton pulse. A wave of crushing gravity rippled through space, crushing enemy ships in a silent death. Council cruisers fractured, their shields collapsing like glass under pressure. Tessa's triumphant voice came over the comm. "Graviton pulse effective. Enemy retreating." Isla exhaled slowly. "This battle is far from over, but today we show them what Deathworld fury truly means." The chapter closed on a scene of precarious hope. In the depths of Gaia 9, an ancient power stirred, one born of Earth's lost past and humanity's unyielding will. Above, shattered alien fleets fled before humanity's wrath, but the abyss was awakening, and its hunger was just beginning. As the Galactic Council collapses under the relentless human offensive, Isla and Kyle confront the true cost of victory. Humanity's savage power reshapes the galaxy's future, forcing an uneasy peace born from fear and respect. The final moments reveal the primal truth behind humanity's survival, a legacy forged in sacrifice, rage, and unyielding will. The galaxy will never forget the Deathworld-Class cruises that changed everything. The shattered council chamber hung heavy with silence, thick as the smoke curling from the ruins beyond. Elder Kethra's voice, once proud and commanding, was now cracked with defeat. "You wield a fury, unlike anything we have known. We underestimated the death world that is humanity." Udla stood before the remnants of the council, her pulse steady, eyes burning with hard-earned resolve. "This war was never just about survival," she said quietly. "It was about reclaiming what you tried to erase, the right to live free, by any means necessary." Kyle watched the fractured faces of the alien dignitaries. Desperation mixed with awe, fear tangled with bitter acceptance. "We did not ask for mercy," Kyle said, voice steady despite the storm inside. "But it will be granted, on our terms." A tense pause filled the air, then a collective nod. The Council's submission was not peace. It was surrender to a new order. Above them, the Ares bastion and its fleet soared as sentinels of humanity's dominance. Tessa's voice crackled over comms. "The galaxy trembles beneath our shadow. Our reach extends beyond this system." Isla exhaled, feeling the weight of countless lost souls, the soldiers who fought, the innocents caught in the crossfire, the legacy carved in fire. In the quiet, moments after the final battle, Isla and Kyle walked through the ruins of Gaia 9. The Deathworld's wild landscape had begun to heal, scarred, but unbroken. Kyle's gaze met Isla's. "We have won, but at what cost?" She looked out across the horizon, the twin suns setting on a world reborn. "Humanity's strength is not just in weapons or technology," she said softly. "It's in our will to endure, to rise, to fight for every breath." As night fell, a distant star blinked, a signal sent back to Earth. The message was simple, raw, and terrifying. "We are here. We endure." The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a Deathworld-Class force, and in that rise, the legend of humanity was born. Not just survivors, but conquerors, unbreakable, unyielding, and forever feared.